drag a police officer up here to talk to y'all. They follow me everywhere I go. So I just asked them to come speak. Donald was at a meeting the other night, sitting beside a little old senior citizen lady, and she looked over and she said, "What kind of gun is that you carry?" He said, "A 45. She said, "Why are you carrying 45? He said, "Because they don't make a 46. She said, "You expecting trouble?" He said, "No. If I was expecting trouble, I'd brought my shotgun." And that's the kind of sheriff that we have serving us today in Houston County. Donald has been with the sheriff's office going on 37 years. It's a long time to be in a stressful job. When Sheriff Hughes resigned to take a job with the state, it fell upon the Republican Executive Committee to select someone to replace Sheriff Hughes on the ballot. That was an awesome task, and I happened to be chairman of the Republican Executive Committee at that time, and we knew that whomever we chose would actually be the sheriff because there was no Democrat running in that race. And it was a duty that we undertook, and I know in my heart we made the right choice. Donald is married to Margaret, does everything she tells him to do. They have a daughter, Elizabeth, who's a college student. And one thing about Sheriff Valenza, I've heard this from the young deputies on the street. On a Friday night, when calls are coming one behind the other, and you get that call that you know is going to be a stressful call, it's not unusual to have 3801 back you up. 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. The sign of a true leader. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you our sheriff, a peacemaker, Donald Valenza.
I appreciate it, John. Thank you very much. First of all, Jack, how are you in here? Okay. Did you talk to her earlier? Okay, she wanted to talk to me about what you said the other night. No. Okay. As John was saying, I've been with the department 37 years. I've seen a lot, worked for 4 sheriffs, but it's not about that. Well, why I'm here right now. I can tell you this: I took office 15 months ago, and from the very beginning, I was approached by the Attorney General's office, the investigators. One of them was a good friend of mine. We were friends for 15 years when he was with the FBI. And first thing they just start telling me is, "When are you going to hit it?" I said, "When am I going to hit what? When are you going to hit me?" Bingo. I said, "When I find out if it's illegal or not, I will." I said, "My job is to protect people's liberties and their constitutional rights." He says, "It's illegal." I said, "Well, I guess we'll get to that point. We'll skip on a little bit and I'll come back to that, but for 7 months, but every 3 weeks I was getting calls. So finally it simmered down. I thought, finally. My first week in office, I had a triple homicide, 2 major storms. I mean, it was busy. Well, it quieted down. And then the Peacemaker's decal came out. Well, that went viral. And so finally that's calming down now, and we get back to work. And Governor Bentley comes forward. So I just want to clear up a couple things. And I've been asked by people, a lot of people, I don't know if they're afraid to ask me. Like I said, I have an open door at any time. You can ask anything you want. But I'll go back to the center stage. I knew this was going to be an issue when I came in office. And no sooner I was in, I got congratulated by my friends. And they started asking me, "When am I going to hit it? When am I going to hit it?" And I said, I really need to find out if it's legal or not. And like I said, I came up through the ranks. I realized when law enforcement's not sure, we're not lawyers. We seek information from our DA and the Attorney General.
Question. You talked about sending an operative into center stage, and you're going to do that again. Was that always your intention, or did with it just so many people asking you about it? What prompted that?
You know how many complaints I've had? 0. 0 complaints. But I felt like it was something I needed to do. Even though it was brought to my attention that they say they were illegal, and I didn't know if they were or not.
our job is to enforce the law. We have to have the law interpreted on occasions, and if you fly by night trying to interpret yourself, if you're not an attorney, you're gonna make a bad decision, in my opinion. And I've done it for 37 years, so I wanted an opinion. I felt like it was something I wanted to do and submit it to show them that what I'm talking about is different. And I'm not going against the Attorney General, not at all. Like I said, the man may be a great governor. I just know before I do something, I'm not going to jump into it head over heels until I find out if it's illegal. If it's illegal, I don't have a problem shutting it down at all. But I want to make sure it's illegal. You understand, in my situation, I hadn't got a defined answer. I've been asking, I've been seeking for help, I've been seeking information, I've been asking for opinion. For whatever reason, I didn't get it. I felt I wanted to do it. I wanted to send them in. I wanted to see what's going on myself, to see if it is different than it was before. The way I understood it, and the DA, was the decision by the Alabama Supreme Court ruled on Judge Conaway when he ruled on Country Crossing and the machines that was there. Now they're using paper, which is part of it. That's what's parts will be legal. And they had another object, the machine, that you don't win any money. What my concern was, is that an enhancer different than the cards? You buy extra cards, you stand a chance of winning some points. That was my question. They're not playing it in a machine. And I'll send them back in. You won't know when they go. You won't know who they are when they go. But if it's being done different, or the way it was before, well, I can show you. Well, you normally go to the DA. That's our legal advisor. And when the DA agrees with you, let's get an opinion, and you don't get an opinion, and it's left up to the sheriffs and the DAs to do the job, we would like an opinion. There's only one guy hired, and that's the Attorney General. And, I mean, we value his opinion. I mean, some people he may give an opinion, some people may not even honor it. We do honor it because of who he is, the position he is. We don't get it where we're at right now.